Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. After an enriching morning session with Lalabhai, we are back here to resume our today's seminar with Satyajit sir. Dr. Satyajit is an accomplished academician and researcher in the philosophy specializing in religion. He holds a PhD from Kumar Bhaskar Verma Sanskrit and Studies University and an award-winning scholar. He had received an Kumar Bhaskar Verma Gold Medal for being the best postgraduate student in philosophy. Furthermore, he is a prolific author, editor with several published textbooks, and as we were talking in the afternoon, and on the logic, Indian philosophy, Western philosophy, along with the numerous UGC care listed research papers. His recent publications include revisiting the concept of ahimsa in the philosophy of Dada Bhagwan for the ancient general for politics and society, and analysis of holistic science and life in living by Dada Bhagwan for Madhyama, a biannual peer review for e-journal. So today we are honored and delighted to welcome Mr. Satyajit for the session. So
A very good afternoon to all. So I am very grateful to being here to say something about the unique contribution of Dada Bhagwan towards Indian philosophy. So basically, in this journey, okay. Slide. Slide.
People will keep joining continuously.
Okay, may I continue, sir? Okay. So it is both a privilege and a profound responsibility to speak today on the very special topic, unique contribution of Dada Bhagwan to Indian philosophy. In related to today's seminar on sailing towards the lighthouse, Dada Bhagwan and Swami Sahajanand. So Indian philosophy is one of the oldest and richest intellectual tradition in the world. From the profound wisdom of the Vedas and Upanishads, the systematic philosophies of Vedanta, Sankhya, Yoga, Nyaya, Buddhism, and Jainism. Basically, when we said about Indian philosophy, it is a compact of 9 philosophical systems. And these 9 systems are divided into 2. One is heterodox and orthodox. So it is start from Sankhya, Yoga, Nyaya, Vaisheshika, Mimamsa, Vedanta. And on the other hand, when we said about Gnostic, start from Sarvak, then Buddhism, then Jainism. These are the 9 philosophical systems, whole or consisting all the Indian philosophy in the classical time. But it starts from the Vedas. Okay, all of you know student of philosophy and sir too, and that Vedas has 4 parts. Okay, Samhita, Brahman, Aranyak, and Upanishad. And we cannot say all Vedas are very philosophical because we have know about that the last portion of Vedas, that is Upanishad. Upanishad is the philosophical portion of the Vedas. All 3 parts are their own significance, their own importance regarding flow, वगैरह जो होता है. Because Vedas means the livelihood, जहाँ हम जीते ऐसा होता है. So philosophy parts consist in Upanishad. So when we say about properly Indian philosophy, it is about transforming of human life. It is not merely speculation, but it is a practical guide for attaining truth, peace, happiness, and liberation. This is the main motto of Indian philosophy. The Sanskrit word for philosophy is darshan, derived from the root drish and meaning to see. To see, and here, to see is not simple thing. It is about our insight, antakaran. It is about antakaran. Generally, the perception of external world, I can say it to see. But when we see through our mind, through our insight, this is about the proper meaning of darshana. It is about the study of life and the world. जीवन, हमारा जीवन और इधर जगत का एक complete study philosophy में होता है. So this is the proper meaning of the word darshan or philosophy. Thus, philosophy in India means the vision of reality or the direct realization of truth. Here, the realization of truth is basically indicate the self-realization, Atma Upalabdhi. The ultimate objective of Indian philosophy is not simply acquired knowledge, but it is about self-realization, Atma-gyan, and liberation or moksha. Here I mention something about the present scenario of Indian philosophy or about Indian knowledge tradition. Now, okay, this is very political that in the support or in the okay RSS and BJP, they strongly advise that all the universities and all the colleges introduce a particular subject, Indian knowledge tradition. Okay, but what is Indian knowledge tradition or what is Indian knowledge system? For example, सर मैं ये थोड़ा बहुत हिंदी में रखना चाहता हूँ, मेरा ये एग्जाम्पल होता है. तो हम क्या करते हैं, सुबह हम उसके कहीं जाने से पहले हम आईने में अपने आप को आईने में देखता हूँ कि मेरा बाल कैसा है. लड़कियां लोग ब्यूटी पार्लर जाते हैं, थ्रेडिंग वगैरह फेशियल करते क्यों करते? बिकॉज हमें लगता है कि हम कंप्लीट नहीं. इट इज अवर मेटेरियलिस्टिक वे कि हम देखते हैं मेरा बियर्ड कैसा है, मेरा बाल कैसे है, मुझे क्या कलर करना है, ये सब इसलिए क्योंकि मुझे लगता है कि मैं कंप्लीट नहीं हूँ. बट दिस इज नॉट द प्रॉपर मीनिंग ऑफ कंप्लीटनेस. इंडियन नॉलेज सिस्टम कहता है कि कंप्लीटनेस इज इंसिस्ट इन योर इनर साइड. तो इस दौरान हम कहते हैं आवर कंप्लीटनेस इज अबाउट आवर लिबरेशन और इज अबाउट आवर मोक्ष. और मोक्ष पाने के लिए इंडियन नॉलेज सिस्टम में होता है पुरुषार्थ, 4 पुरुषार्थ: धर्म, अर्थ, काम एंड मोक्ष. धर्म का पुरुषार्थ में मीनिंग नॉट अबाउट रिलीजन, इट इज अबाउट आवर ड्यूटी as a human being, as a teacher, as a student, all have their own duty towards our society. उसके बाद अर्थ का एक सिग्निफिकेंस है, उसके बाद होता है काम और उसको कहते हैं हम फैमिली लाइफ, देन आता है मोक्ष. So this is about, actually thing is that Indian knowledge tradition basically said about moksha. All are very well connected. So when we said about meaning and characteristics of Indian philosophy, so Indian philosophy possesses several distinctive characteristics. Some of them are: philosophy is a way of life. Philosophy is not a subject, it is a living system. It is a way of life. हम कैसे जीते हैं. वेरी कॉमन, सब कहते हैं कि ये 2 दिन की जिंदगी, ये 2 दिन की जिंदगी है, तो हमें शान से जीना है, सबसे मिल बात के रहेंगे। तो प्रॉब्लम ये है कि इस एरा में हम लोग किसी ना किसी चीज के लिए सबके साथ झगड़ते रहते हैं। दिस इज नॉट अबाउट प्रॉपर मीनिंग ऑफ लाइफ। हम सब जानते हैं हम एक दिन मरेंगे। जब यमराज को युधिष्ठिर मिला था, तो युधिष्ठिर को यमराज ने पूछा था कि सर, आप एक क्वेश्चन का जवाब दो और अपने पूरे भाइयों को जिंदा कर दो। एक सरोवर में पानी पिया था, उसका एक मेटाफोर होता है। तो यमराज ने उसको पूछता है कि इस दुनिया का सबसे क्या कहते हैं, आश्चर्य की बात क्या है, मोस्ट सरप्राइजिंग थिंग। तब युधिष्ठिर कहता है कि हम सब जानते हैं हम एक ना एक दिन मरेंगे, लेकिन कोई मरने के लिए तैयार नहीं। ऐसा तो
मानता भी नहीं।
मानता भी नहीं, तैयार भी नहीं होता है। This is the most surprising thing in our life. So Indian philosophy is deeply connected with everyday life. It teaches how human beings should live ethically, spiritually और harmoniously. तो हारमोनियसली और पीसफुली का मतलब तो हम जानते हैं, वसुधैव कुटुंबकम। मैं आसाम से यहाँ पर हूँ, ये मैडम ये इंडोनेशिया से, ये सर बांग्लादेश से, वो मैडम हम सब यहाँ पर है। हम किसी का एनिमी नहीं है, हम एक साथ जितने दिन रहेंगे फैमिली बन के रहेंगे, सब सबका ख्याल रखेंगे। सो दिस इज द डीपर मीनिंग ऑफ इंडियन फिलोसफी। नेक्स्ट, सर्च फॉर अल्टीमेट ट्रूथ। एवरी फिलोसॉफिकल सिस्टम आस्क्स फंडामेंटल क्वेश्चन, हु आई एम। तमिल लैंग्वेज में कहते हैं नान यार, हु आई एम, मैं कौन हूँ। दिस इज द वेरी important question asked by दादा भगवान। मैं कौन हूँ, मैं सत्यजीत हूँ, सत्यजीत मेरा नाम है, बट मैं कौन हूँ। दिस इज द क्वेश्चन वेयर द फिलोसॉफी बिगन। देन व्हाट इज द नेचर ऑफ दिस यूनिवर्स, ये जगत कैसा है, गॉड एग्जिस्ट करता है कि नहीं, इज देयर गॉड, व्हाई डू सफरिंग एंड हैप्पीनेस एग्जिस्ट, व्हाट हैपन आफ्टर लाइफ। These are the different questions, different fundamental metaphysical questions are associated with Indian philosophy. And Indian philosophy around going to answering this question. मैं जब फिलोसॉफी सर पढ़ा था, मेरे सर ने मुझे बोला था फिलोसॉफी एक ऐसा सब्जेक्ट है जिसमें कोई एक अल्टीमेट ट्रूथ नहीं होता है, जिसका कोई भी सिद्धांत किसी के लिए कंप्लीट नहीं होता है। एक एग्जांपल मुझे दिया था फिलोसॉफी अबाउट द क्यूरियोसिटी। बोला था 2 लोग अगर एक शाम किसी झील के किनारे चले गए, तो वहां पर अगर कोई एक अच्छा दृश्य सिनारियो होगा, शाम ढलने जा रहा है, तो एक जनरल पीपल पूछेगा और बोलेगा इतना प्यारा दृश्य है, कितना सुंदर है। और जो फिलोसॉफिकल माइंडसेट वाला लोग पूछेगा कि व्हाई सन सेट, उसके बाद क्या होगा। दैट मींस एक सर्कल ऑफ क्वेश्चन अबाउट एवरीथिंग। दिस इज द फिलोसफी, लाइक हेगल आल्सो सेड अबाउट। देन इंपॉर्टेंस ऑफ सेल्फ नॉलेज। उपनिषद में कहा है नो दाई सेल्फ, पहले खुद को जानना होगा, उसके बाद दूसरों को। सर भी उस समय बोल रहा था पहले खुद का। कबीर ने बोला, संत कबीर ने बोला, लालम लाल सारो और लाल, जब मैं गया लाल देखने में भी हो गया लाल। हम ध्रुव ध्रुव का स्टोरी सब जानते हैं, ध्रुव। सो ध्रुव का स्टोरी में क्या होता है, जब उसको पिताजी ने घर से निकाल दिया अपनी सौती माँ को, माँ की बात में, तो उसने माँ को पूछा कि माँ ऐसा क्यों, पिताजी ने क्यों मुझे छोड़ दिया, मैं पिताजी के गोदी में बैठना था। तब उसके माँ ने बताया कि ये मुझे नहीं पता, तुम भगवान विष्णु को पूछो। तब वो एक रात चला गया जंगल में, विष्णु कहाँ है, विष्णु कहाँ है, भगवान कहाँ है, चला गया। उसके बाद नारद जी बता रहे, नारद जी ने पूछा कि बेटा तुम्हारा कष्ट क्या है, उसने पूरा बात बताई। तब नारद जी ने बोला ऐसे नहीं मिलेगा, भगवान तुम्हारे आसपास है, तुमको ढूंढना पड़ेगा। तो वो ओम नमो नारायण भगवते वासुदेव एक पेड़ के नीचे, तब भगवान विष्णु। तो ऐसा है कि खुद को पहचानना होगा। भगवान को हमें मंदिर में नहीं जाना है ढूंढने को, पहाड़ों में नहीं जाना है। इट इज इन योर इनसाइड। कथा उपनिषद में कहते हैं सर्वम खलु इदं ब्रह्म, दैट मीन्स ऑल इज ब्रह्मन एंड आई एम द ब्रह्मन। देन ignorance के बारे में, it is about ignorance, and ignorance is regarded as the root cause of human suffering. Practical orientation. Indian philosophy is very practical. And the purpose of Indian philosophy is about removal of suffering, attainment of peace, realization of truth, liberation from the circle of birth. And after that, when we said about Ved, Upanishad, and classical nine system, all we know about this basic or basic foundation of Indian philosophy. Throughout the history, great sects have offered different paths to self-realization. Some emphasize knowledge, other devotion, discipline, action, karma, meditation, dhyana, or renunciation, sannyasa. Although these paths differ in method, they all share the common objective of liberation from ignorance and suffering. In this regard, Brihad and Upanishad have a very interesting sloka. Asatama sadgamaya, tamasama jyotirgamaya, mittuma amritagam. From evil lead me to good, from darkness lead me to light, from death lead me to immortality. This is the meaning of Indian philosophy. Now, the 20th century witnessed rapid industrialization, scientific progress, globalization, unpretended social transformation. While material prosperity increased, human beings also experienced greater anxiety, stress, loneliness, conflict, and spiritual uncertainty. These are the very common problems in the present era. All the youth are facing. Basically, the IT, the social media, these are the source of our problem. किसी का एक वीडियो वायरल हो गया, उसका फ्रेंड टेंशन में आ गया, उसका वीडियो वायरल हो गया, मेरा नहीं। परसों 1 तारीख को मेरे कॉलेज में सर एक फंक्शन था, फाउंडेशन डे था। कॉलेज के 2 स्टूडेंट बिहू नाच रहे थे, तो मैं थोड़ी दूर से देख रहा था, क्या वो वीडियो बना रहे थे और बिहू नाच रहा था। तो एक ने बोला आज हम वायरल होके रहे। So this is the mentality of our youth. They are going, they are looking for some nonsense popularity instead of they क्या कहते हैं इसको सर, जो रियल है ना उसको छोड़ के वो लोग टेम्पोरली किसी चीज के पीछे दौड़ रहे हैं, उसके वजह से ये सारे प्रॉब्लम हो रहे हैं। एंजाइटी, देन स्ट्रेस, लॉनलीनेस, conflict, and spiritual uncertainty. In such a world, ancient philosophical teachings, जिसको हम Indian knowledge system और Indian philosophy कह सकते हैं, often appeared difficult for ordinary people to practice. Long years ago, spiritual scholarship, meditation, renunciation seems accessible to householders burdened with family and professional responsibilities. सर मैं पहले स्लाइड में आना चाहता हूँ। This is the ancient path demanding years of austerity, spiritual scholarship and renunciation. पहले तो हमारा सिस्टम था एजुकेशन सिस्टम। Now a particular social issue is casteism. Casteism is a very big social issue everywhere in India. लोग कहते हैं कि हम फ्री है, मोदी जी कहते हैं कि ये है वो है, हमारे हेमंत बिस्वा जी कहते हैं हम सब एक है, लेकिन कहाँ हम एक है? कास्टिज्म के ऊपर अत्याचार होते हैं, बहुत सारे एग्जाम्पल होता है। बट पहले ये नहीं होता। जो ऋग्वेदिक टाइम में सर कास्टिज्म का मीनिंग था, जन्म से कोई ब्राह्मण नहीं, जन्म से कोई शूद्र नहीं होता। इट इज अबाउट हिज एबिलिटी, जो जिसमें एक्सपर्ट है वो ये उसी का कास्ट है। कोई युद्ध में एक्सपर्ट है, फाइटिंग में एक्सपर्ट है, वो कहलाएगा खत्री। ऋग्वेद में ये लिखा हुआ है। जो पूजा पाठ करेगा, संस्कृत पढ़ने में इंटरेस्टेड है, जो स्कॉलरिस्टिक है, वो बनेगा ब्राह्मण। जो बिजनेस माइंडेड है वो बनेगा वैश्य, और जो ये सारे सर्विसेज देता है वो बनेगा शूद्र। ऐसा बात नहीं कि शूद्र का बेटा शूद्र ही। दिस इज ए पर्टिकुलर सिस्टम evolved by Brahmanical tradition in later development. हमारे वैदिक पीरियड में 64 आर्ट्स थे, कला थे, 64 कलास थे, और उससे उसका एक नंबर पे था जो कुकिंग। माता जी, जो कुकिंग होता है वो पहले नंबर पे था, विद्या था। 64 विद्या का पहला था कुकिंग था, बिकॉज कुकिंग सबको जानना, ये लड़का हो या लड़के, सबको कुकिंग जानना है, बिकॉज कुकिंग आएगा तो वो खाएगा। तो ऐसे बहुत सारे थे। तो ये इस 64 कलास को लेके हमारा कास्ट वगैरह ये सब होता था। सो ये जो एंशियंट पाथ था, एंशियंट वे ऑफ लाइफ था, ये प्योर था। तो धीरे धीरे ये क्या हो गया, करप्टेड होता जा रहा। So can an ordinary person living amidst the demons of modern life realistically achieving liberation? This is the big question. हम उसको छोड़ के अभी इस माइंडसेट से कोई एक यूथ लिबरेशन पा सकता है? नहीं, नहीं हो सकता। So the modern reality is rapid industrialization, anxiety, emotional conflict, and the heavy burden of family and professional life. This is the present scenario. ये सबके लाइफ में हो रहा है। So I am going to criticize this modern reality. Possible. This is possible. And that possibility already given by Dada. So it was within this historical context of Dada Bhagwan emerged as a remarkable modern spiritual teacher. His contribution was not to establish another religious sect or to replace existing philosophical tradition. Rather, he sought to reveal the eternal truth already present within every human being, and to present that truth in a language understandable to contemporary society. Dada Bhagwan repeatedly stated that truth belongs to a no single religion. It is a universal. Every human being possesses the same pure soul, irrespective of caste, creed, nationality, language, gender, or social status. Therefore, spirituality must also be universal. One of the most striking features of his teaching is that he describes spirituality as a science rather than merely a matter of belief. I also repeat this sentence. According to Dada Bhagwan, spirituality as a science rather than merely a matter of belief.
Continue.
Okay. So this is the great philosophical statement stated by Dada Bhagwan. Spirituality, Indian philosophy also stated that spirituality is the cream of Indian philosophy. Cream of Indian philosophy. Without cream, हम जो खाते हैं आइसक्रीम का कोई तो टेस्ट नहीं होता है ना। आइसक्रीम का एक ऐसा डब्बा लो, उस पे क्रीम या पूरा विदाउट स्वीट विदाउट क्रीम टेस्ट नहीं होता है। सो कहते हैं कि that sweetness, that interest, okay, given in Indian philosophy with the help of spirituality. So according to Dada Bhagwan, just as physical science discovered the law governing the external universe, spiritual science discovered the law governing consciousness. Now, what is science? In our HSRC days, the particular textbook as logic and philosophy. And here we studied science is a subject where we can analyze such theory in a systematic way, in a civilized manner. That means science is basically a systematic study of any subject. So here, Dadaji also stated that spirituality is a science, like a physical science, like chemistry, like biology, like zoology, etc. And these laws are universal, verifiable through direct experience, and independent of religious identity. This scientific approach distinguishes Dada Bhagwan from many modern spiritual teachers. He encourages people not simply to believe his words. Very interesting. Dadaji said that the people not simply believe his words, but to verify them through personal experience. लाला सर ने मुझे ये बताया, दादाजी किसी को कभी भी फोर्स नहीं करते तुम मेरे बात मानो, आप मुझे सुनो या ना सुनो ये आपकी मर्जी, उसको मानो या ना मानो आपकी मर्जी. In this respect, his philosophy resonates with the spirit of inquiry that characterized both classical Indian philosophy and modern scientific thought. Today, we shall explore how Dada Bhagwan reinterpreted many ancient philosophical ideas and presented them in an accessible, practical, and experiential manner. His philosophy is known as Akram Vignan, the stepless science of self-realization, and it forms a foundation of all his teachings. Before examining this remarkable philosophy, let us briefly understand the life and spiritual journey of Dada. Dada Bhagwan was born on 7 November 1908 in Tarsali near Vadodara, Gujarat, into a deeply religious family. His birth name was Ambalal Munji Bhai Patel. Although he did not receive formal philosophical training like us in the traditional sense, from an early age, he displayed an extraordinary inclination towards truth, morality, compassion, and introspection. Unlike many classical saints who withdraw from society, Dada Bhagwan lived as an ordinary householder. उस समय हम बात कर रहे थे सर से मोनास्टिक लाइफ, संन्यास नहीं लेना. दादाजी कहते संन्यास ये कावर्ड
कंपल्सरी
नहीं होता. हम अपनी लाइफ में, फैमिली लाइफ में भी मोक्ष पा सकते हैं, और उसका एक जाता दिखता एग्जाम्पल तो दादा भगवान खुद थे. तो हियर he engaged in business, fulfilled family responsibilities, and participated actively in society. This aspect of his life is philosophically significant because it demonstrated that spiritual realization is not confined to monastic life. Monastic life लेने से कोई मोक्ष पा जाए ऐसा कोई बात नहीं होता. A defining moment occurred in 1958 at Surat railway station, where Dada Bhagwan experienced that he described as complete self-realization. According to his own testimony, the distinction between the ego and the pure self disappeared entirely, revealing the eternal nature of the soul. This experience transformed his life and became the basis of what he later called Akram Vignan. So that's why I use the word for Dada Bhagwan is holistic scientist. Following this realization, thousands of seekers approached him for guidance. Rather than asking them to adopt complete disciple, he introduced a simple yet profound process known as Jnana Vidhi, through which aspirants could receive the right vision, Samyak Darshan, and begin living with awareness of the pure self. An important point deserves emphasis here that Dada Bhagwan never claimed to be the founder of a new religion. Instead, he regarded himself as an instrument through whom the eternal truths were revealed. His message constantly encouraged respect for all religions while emphasizing direct experience over sectarian identity. So this is the very simplest thing about Dada Bhagwan, that he never take any credit. He was a very open-minded human being. I said to him, a human being, a complete human being, because he lived his life in proper means of mankind. Then the philosophical background of Dada Bhagwan and his spiritual journey. To appreciate the originality of Dada Bhagwan, we must first understand the philosophical landscape of India. Classical Indian philosophy generally recognizes that liberation is achieved through sustained spiritual disciplines. यहाँ पर मैंने लिखा है. सर एक स्टेप था ना, ठीक है सर, मैं बोल दूंगा उसको. No, ठीक है, okay सर, मैं बोल दूंगा. So classical Indian philosophy generally recognizes that liberation or moksha is achieved through sustained spiritual discipline. मोक्ष पाने के लिए हमें एक बहुत स्ट्रिक्ट रूल फॉलो करना है. मैं जब मास्टर डिग्री में था तो कभी कभी मैं विवेकानंद केंद्र में जाता था. उसमें जाके थोड़ा सर्विस वगैरह, तो वहाँ पर लोग बोलते थे कि ऐसे नहीं होता, आपको सोशल सर्विस करना ही होगा, दूसरों का सेवा तो करना होगा, तभी मोक्ष मिलेगा. That means you have to follow certain rules, certain restriction, कि मुझे मोक्ष पाना है तो मैं ये करता है. बट वहाँ कुछ दिन बिताने के बाद मुझे समझ में आया, दिस इज नॉट द प्रॉपर वे टू गेटिंग लिबरेशन. इट इज अबाउट ए डिफरेंट थिंग. एज ए टीचर मैं कॉलेज में पढ़ाता हूँ. हियर द वे इज दैट आई एम नॉट गोइंग टू मिसलीड any of my students, any of my classes. मुझे कोई एक स्टूडेंट को भी क्या नहीं करना चाहिए, मिसलीड नहीं करना चाहिए. ओके, नो डाउट, दिस इज वेरी पॉसिबल. 50 स्टूडेंट का एक क्लास में ऐसा नहीं है कि पूरे 50 स्टूडेंट आपको अच्छे से सुन, ये कभी भी पॉसिबल नहीं होता है. बिकॉज एवरी ह्यूमन बीइंग हैव डिस्टिंक्टिव इन देयर माइंड, देयर थॉट्स. So सब आपको नहीं सुनने का, लेकिन this is very universal that one or two of your disciple, of your student, listen you very carefully and follow you very carefully. Then it is your duty for these two disciples, you have to engage yourself in a proper way. You are not going to mislead these two. आप बाकी 48 के साथ क्या कर रहे हो वो बात नहीं है, वो जो दो है जो आपको सुन रहे हैं उसको आप मिसलीड ना करें. दिस इज द प्रॉपर वे. एज ए टीचर मैं इसी को मानता हूँ कि आप उन दोनों को मिसलीड ना करें. तो यही हुआ ना, वन काइंड ऑफ सोशल सर्विस. आपको रास्ता साफ करने के लिए तो ये तो नहीं हो ना. तो जो जिसका है, अगर आप छोड़ सकते हो तो छोड़ दो, आपको फैमिली छोड़ना है तो छोड़. दादाजी ने उसको मना नहीं कि आप छोड़ना है तो छोड़. नहीं छोड़ना तो ठीक है, नहीं छोड़ो, ज्ञान विधि फॉलो करो. So, despite their differences, this tradition generally describes liberation as the culmination of a gradual process requiring prolonged effort. This gradual progression is often referred as karma marg, the step-by-step path. ये एक प्रोसेस जो एक के बाद एक, जैसे योग फिलोसफी में यम नियम प्राणायाम प्रत्याहार धारणा ध्यान समाधि, समाधि तक आने के लिए आपको क्या 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 करना होगा. सो दिस इज स्टेप बाय स्टेप.
Step by step, क्रमिक पाथ ना.
हाँ, क्रमिक पाथ. ये हुआ ना.
This is.
सो ये क्रमिक पाथ जो है, इसमें प्यूरिफाई द माइंड, पहला कंट्रोल ऑफ डिजायर, स्टडी स्क्रिप्चर्स, प्रैक्टिस मेडिटेशन, डेवलप डिटैचमेंट, सेल्फ रियलाइजेशन ऑफ लिबरेशन. ये करते करते लोग बुद्धा होके जो सुख, लिबरेशन का सुख, वो कब एंजॉय करेगा. सर ने तब उस लेक्चर में कहा थी कर्मण्येवाधिकारस्ते, जो होता है ना, कर्मण्येवाधिकारस्ते माँ फलेषु कदाचन माँ कर्म फलम हेतुर्भुः माते कर्मणि संगोपो. इस श्लोक का जो अर्थ होता है, निष्काम कर्म करना है, कोई हमें कर्म का फल का चिंता नहीं करना. इस दुनिया में कौन है जो कर्म फल का चिंता ना करते हुए काम कर रहे हैं? मोदी जी या हेमंत विश्व जी, है ना सर. सब सब कर रहे हैं कि बोलते हैं, सब बोलते हैं डिग्री ऑफ दैट अटैचमेंट, डिग्री कितना होता है. कोई कम कर्मफल का आशा करता है, कोई ज्यादा करता है. ये so the aspirant gradually purifies the mind, control desires, studies scriptures, practicing meditation, develop detachment, eventually realize the self. Such paths have produced countless saints and enlightened masters throughout Indian history. However, Dada Bhagwan posed a practical question. Can the ordinary person living amidst the demands of modern family life realistically follow this rigorous disciplines? This is a practical question. क्या एक common people ये कर सकता है? Family responsibility है, बूढ़े माँ पिताजी को देखना है, बच्चे को पढ़ाना है, अपनी वाइफ वगैरह वगैरह, ये सारे रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी लेके क्या ये कर सकता है? एज ए पैट्रियोटिकल सोसाइटी, हमारे फैमिली का जो मुखिया मेरे पिताजी है, अगर अभी पिताजी बोल रहे कि मैं संन्यास के लिए जा रहा हूं तो मेरा क्या होगा? मेरे भाई का, मेरे बहन का, मेरे माँ का. तो दिस इज नॉट पॉसिबल फॉर कॉमन पीपल. एंड हियर दैट ट्रेडिशनल वे इज फेल. यही पर वो ट्रेडिशनल वो फेल होता है कि दिस इज नॉट फॉर ऑल. बट फिलोसॉफी नॉट अबाउट फॉर सर्टेन ह्यूमन बीइंग. फिलोसॉफी तो 2-3 पीपल के लिए नहीं होता है, फिलोसॉफी तो सबके लिए. ये तो किसी बाप का जागीर नहीं है कि फिलोसॉफी मेरा है, मैं ही करूंगा, तुम नहीं कर सकते हो, ऐसा तो नहीं. सो दैट्स व्हाई दादाजी हियर इंट्रोड्यूस आक्रम पथ. You are a householder, you can achieve this. So this answer was revolutionary. He proposed that while spiritual purification remains essential, direct self-realization need not always be the final result of a long sequence of practices under the guidance of an enlightened being, Jnani Purush. One can first attain the awareness of the pure self and then gradually purify the remaining karmic tendencies while continuing ordinary. I can repeat this. Under the guidance of an enlightened being, Jnani Purush, one can first attain the awareness of pure self. First, he can aware about his self, pure self. Then gradually purify the remaining karmic tendency while continuing ordinary life. ऐसे भी हम कर सकते हैं. This inversion of traditional sequence constitute the philosophical foundation of Akram Vignan. The word Akram literally means without steps or non-sequential, while Vignan signifies the experiential science or realized knowledge. Thus, Akram Vignan may be translated as stepless science of self-realization. There are three traditional ways for liberation: Gyan, Bhakti, और एक है कर्म. 18th tradition. When we read about Indian philosophy, metaphysics, or spiritually, we can read about this three. And this is Akram Vignan is the way we can add it with this three. That means Bhakti, Karma, Gyan, and Akram. We can add. So this is the unique contribution to Dada Bhagwan towards Indian philosophy. Its central insight is profound yet simple. The true self is already pure, eternal, and liberated. Ignorance alone creates the illusion of bondage. If this ignorance is removed through the grace of the Jnani Purush, one immediately recognizes one's true nature. This does not imply that ethical living becomes unnecessary. Rather, ethical transformation naturally follows the self-realization. Now, the question is, why Akram Vignan matters to the relevance of Akram Vignan extends beyond religious discourses. Modern individuals often struggle with stress, competition, identity crisis, and emotional conflict. Dada Bhagwan's teachings offer a practical framework or a foundation for addressing these challenges without withdrawing himself from the society. Instead of escaping worldly responsibilities, one learns to perform them with awareness, detachment, humanity, and compassion. Spirituality thus become a living reality rather than a distant ideal. In this sense, Dada Bhagwan bridges ancient metaphysics with the psychological and social realities of the 21st century. His philosophy demonstrates that enlightenment is not reserved for monks or ascetic, but it is a possibility for every sincere seeker. This is the great thing said by Dada Bhagwan. In the next part, I'm going to say about Akram Vignan, the self-realization, and the historical background of this. Okay, and we can try to differentiate Akram Vignan and other traditional way. To appreciate the originality of Akram Vignan, let us briefly recall the traditional spiritual path described in Indian philosophy. Almost every major philosophical system in India prescribes a gradual path to liberation and known as Brahma. Whether we study Upanishad, the Bhagavad Gita, Yoga, Vedanta, Buddhism, or Jainism, we find a common pattern. The seeker first purifies the mind through ethical conduct, disciplines the senses, studies scriptures, practicing meditation, perform austerities, cultivates detachment, and only after years or even lifetimes attain self-realization. This gradual approach has produced innumerable enlightened sects and remained one of the greatest achievements of Indian civilization. But Dada Bhagwan never rejected his path. On the contrary, he acknowledged its authenticity and respected its effectiveness. However, Dada Bhagwan asked a practical question which is very deeply relevant to modern life. Dada Bhagwan clearly declared that the pure soul is already perfect. It does not need to become pure. It only needs to recognize. The obstacle is not impurity of the soul, but ignorance of one's true identity. He often illustrated this with a simple example. Imagine that a prince is separated from his family during childhood and grows up believing that he is a poor villager. Throughout his life, he struggles with poverty, fear, and insecurity. One day, someone reveals his true identity and provides undeniable evidences that he is, in fact, the rightful prince. At that very moment, his identity changes. Not because he has become a prince, but because he has discovered that he was always one. This is the philosophical problem of role play. If you are working in a restaurant as a waiter, the whole working day, you play your role as waiter. Like Sandrakan sir, your director, he play his role as a director whole day, but this is not his real identity. Real identity, he is father, his husband, like that. So this is the problem of role playing. Similarly, according to Dada Bhagwan, every human being is already the Suddha, the pure soul. Spiritual realization is not the creation of something new. It is the removal of ignorance. This is the philosophical foundation of Akram Vignan. Dada Bhagwan beautifully explained that the role of Jnani Purush, the enlightened being, is not to grant liberation as a gift, but to awaken the dormant awareness of the true self. Through the process known as Jnan Vidhi, the aspirant receives Shamyak Darshan or right vision. For the first time, the seeker begins to experience that I am not the body, I am not the mind, I am not the ego, I am the pure soul. Notice how significant this shift. In many traditional systems, realization comes after prolonged purification, but in Akram Vignan, realization comes first and purification follows naturally. One person knows the true self, worldly attachments gradually awaken, anger diminishes, pride softens, deceit decreases, and greed loses its hold. Thus, the sequence changes from first purification to self-realization to progressive purification. अगर पहले फॉर एग्जांपल इन जनरली कोई एक सोर किसी का पॉकेट मार लिया तो उसको 2 साल लोगों ने पकड़ कर जाम से धोया, तो उसके बाद एक लेक्चर, बहुत लंबी लेक्चर थी. दैट मीन्स व्हाट, जो मार पड़ी तब उसको समझ में आ गया ये जो सोर है ना, ये उसका रियलिटी नहीं होता है. उसके बाद उसका रियलाइजेशन, उसके बाद ग्रेजुअली वो प्योर होता चला. दिस इज द वे दैट दादा भगवान सेज. पहले तो आपको रियलाइजेशन होगा कि आप शुद्धात्मा हो, और इस शुद्धात्मा को कंटिन्यू करने के लिए आपको क्या करना है, वो ग्रेजुअल प्यूरिफिकेशन. सो दिस रिवर्सल represents one of Dada Bhagwan's most original philosophical insight. Another remarkable feature of Akram Vignan is universality. Dada Bhagwan never insisted that one must sense one's religion, abandon cultural traditions, or adopt a new sect. A Hindu remain a better Hindu, a Muslim a better Muslim, a Christian a better Christian, and a Jain remain a better Jain. The emphasis is always on realizing the self rather than changing the religious identity. आपको शुद्धात्मा और आपको मोक्ष पाने के लिए आपका रिलीजन छोड़ना नहीं, आप जो हो वही है. Important thing is your inner intent. आपको समझना है अपनी आप को. इसके लिए आपको thing is simple ना, the life of दादा भगवान. कौन मतलब यहाँ पर जो जिसने देखा, जो फॉलोअर्स है, जिसको वो, this is not the traditional way where we are believing that a particular human being sitting in a railway station and get that higher knowledge. This is very surprising thing, but this is actual thing. आपको मतलब कोई अलग से कुछ नहीं करना है. So this universal outlook reflects the spirit of Indian philosophy itself. The ancient dictum, Ekam Sat Vipra Buddha Badanti. And this is a famous Sanskrit phrase originates from Rig Veda. और इसका जो अर्थ है, truth is one. The wise describes in it many ways. Truth is one. The wise describe it in many ways. Finds a fresh expression in Dada Bhagwan's teachings. He repeatedly reminded seekers that the soul has no caste, no religion, no nationality, or no social status. Bhagavad Gita, Nainam Sindanti Sastrani Nainam Dahativa. आत्मा जो होता है वो आत्मा होता है, उसके अलावा उसका कोई आइडेंटिटी नहीं होता. Another distinctive characteristic of Akram Vignan is its scientific presentation. Dada Bhagwan frequently used the language of cause and effect, causality, इसको कहते हैं, experiment, observation, and verification. If you studied the very books, very satsang stories of Dada Bhagwan, he used very common thing which are very common to us, like surging, discharging, business, yes, sir. The use or the selection of his word are very specific. That means his philosophy is very simple. His philosophy is not philosophical. His philosophy is very natural. So that's why here Akram Vigyan is very scientific, and Dada Bhagwan frequently used the language of cause and effect, experiment, observing, and verification. He encouraged seekers not to accept his words blindly, but to examine them through their own experience. This scientific attitude resonates with the classical Indian concept of anubhav, or direct realization. Indian philosophy has always maintained that ultimate truth cannot be understood merely through intellectual reasoning. The Upanishads declares that the self is to be realized through direct experience. Dada Bhagwan revitalized this principle for the modern age by explaining profound metaphysical truths in everyday language and with practical examples. One of the reasons Akram Vignan has attracted educated people across the world is that it addresses the psychological problems of modern life. Many people suffer from anxiety, stress, guilt, insecurity because they identify completely with their thoughts, emotions, and social roles. Akram Dignan invites them to step back and observe this sensing state from the standpoint of the pure soul. This witnessing attitude transforms one's relationship with life. Success and failure are not longer experienced as absolute victories or defeats. Praise and criticism loses much of their emotional intensity. One begins to live with greater balance, humility, and inner peace. At this point, a philosophical question naturally arises. If realization can occur through the grace of the Jnani Purush, does individual effort become unnecessary? So this is philosophical question that अगर कोई ज्ञानी पुरुष हमें ज्ञान दे सकता है, बाबा जी मुझे ज्ञान दो, तो मेरा काम में जो मेरा एफर्ट का क्या है, मुझे कुछ नहीं करना है क्या? दिस इज द क्वेश्चन. तो मुझे कुछ करना है कि नहीं करना? Dada Bhagwan answer is very suitable. Grace open the door to self-realization, but the seeker must still with awareness, follows the principles and receiving during Jnana Vidhi, observe the working of the ego and gradually exhaust past karmas through right understanding and conduct. Thus, grace and personal responsibility complement one another rather than contradict each other. This is the coexistence of Jnana Vidhi and the personal aspect. This synthesis of grace and effort distinguishes Akram Vignan from many purely effort-based or purely grace-based traditions. Its presence liberation as a cooperative process in which the enlightened teacher awaken right vision while the seeker continuously lives according to that realization. Here, Dadaji very clearly clarifies that both the ways from receiving Jnani Purush, Jnana Vidhi, and the responsibilities of seeker are go through cooperatively. Like the mind and body go very parallelly in the philosophy of Spinoza. Therefore, Atman Vignan should not be misunderstood as a shortcut that avoids disciplines. Here, that true cooperation clears that this Akram mark is not a shortcut. Here, both are very essential. If you get the Jnana Vidhi from Jnani Purush, this is not the complete of your process to self-realization. After getting, you have to clarify your own tendency. You have to maintain the vidhi very properly. So instead, it is a transformation in order to spiritual development. This journey continues after self-realization, but it proceeds with clarity instead of ignorance. Therefore, when viewed from another perspective of the history of Indian philosophy, Akram Vignan represents an innovative reinterpretation rather than a rejection of classical tradition. Dada Bhagwan, the philosophy of Dada Bhagwan is very clear. He was not going to reject any way who give us liberation. Okay. Dada Bhagwan said that this is my way, you can choose it. This is my invention, you can choose it. So it honors to eternal truth that Upanishad, Bhagavad Gita, Jain philosophy and other school while making them accessible to ordinary householders living in the complexity of the modern world. For this reason, many scholars regard Dada Bhagwan not merely a spiritual teacher, but a creative interpreter of Indian philosophical heritage. His greatest contribution lies in demonstrating that self-realization need not remain a distant ideal reserved for ascetics. It becomes a living reality within the everyday life of every sincere seeker. In this context, we shall explore another philosophical aspects of Dada Bhagwan's philosophy is that the distinction between real self, Suddhatma, and the relative self. Real self, the Suddhatma. The characteristics of Suddhatma basically the unchanging, that is permanent, eternal, silent knower and seer, Gyata Rasta, infinite knowledge, perception and bliss, Satsidanand, never burns, never get wet. एक श्लोक भगवद गीता का नंबर और वो मुझे याद नहीं सुखेशन रिग्ध मनः दुखेशन विगतस्पृहा धेतराग भय क्रोधः सीताधीर मनुष्यते साधु संत कौन होता है इसके बारे में बोल रहा था शुद्धात्मा कौन है हाँ वो बोल रहा था कि जिसका सुख और दुख में कोई नाता नहीं है सुखेशन रिग्ध मनः दुखेशन विगतस्पृहा धेतराग भय क्रोधः सीताधीर मनुष्यते जिसके लिए संसार का सभी स्टेज एक समान है वही शुद्धात्मा दैट मींस इट इज अबाउट वी कैन से क्या कहते हैं एक वर्ड था स्थितवेग स्टेट है उसका ही एक झलक होता है कि उसमें जो होता है वो परमानेंट होता है और रिलेटिव सेल्फ पुद्गल the sensing moves, the physical body, intellect, ego, speech, and social identity. And here, the root cause of suffering is mistaking the movie of the skin, believing I am angry or I am failure instead of recognize anger is occurring within the relative self. I am. We try to understand, we try to emphasize our Suddhatma, but this is not the real thing. I am here, the relative self. The scientific interpretation of spirituality and distinction between real self and the relative self, these two ideas from philosophical foundation often enter structure of Akram Vigyan rests. One of the first things that strikes the student of Dada Bhagwan is that the rarely presents spirituality as a matter of blind faith. Instead, he repeatedly refers to it as Vignan or science. This testimoniology is not accidental, it reflects his conviction that spiritual truths are governed by universal laws, Vyavasthit Shakti, just as physical universe is governed by scientific principle. व्यवस्थित शक्ति जो यूनिवर्सल लॉज होता है वो गवर्न करते हैं और स्पिरिचुअलिटी एंड जो नेचुरल लॉ होता है वो गवर्न करता है हमारा ये पूरा मटेरियल वर्ल्ड. When we think of science, we usually associate it with observation, experimentation, verification, and universal validity. A scientific principle is accepted not because someone believes it, but because it can be tested and experienced. Dada Bhagwan applies the same standard to spirituality. He argues that the existence of pure self, the operation of karma, and the possibility of liberation are not merely theological claims. They are realities that can be directly experienced through a right understanding and working awareness. This approach particularly signifies that the modern age. We live in a world shaped by scientific thinking. Many educated individuals are hesitant to accept religious doctrine based solely on authority or tradition. But Dada Bhagwan addresses this concern by inviting seekers to verify spiritual truths through their own experience rather than through unquestioning beliefs. He often emphasizes that to religion beings with experience begins. Scriptures may guide us, teachers may inspire us, but philosophical argumentation may clarify concepts. But unless one directly experiences the distinction between self and the non-self, genuine transformation does not occur. Here some examples, some statement related to relative self, like Dada Bhagavan uses. I am angry, I am successful, I am failure, I am rich, I am poor, I am respected, I am insulted. This quotation always indicates our relative self. But real self or Suddhatma is very characterized with eternality, pure and consciousness. It is characterized by infinite knowledge, infinite perception, infinite bliss, and infinite energy. It never born, never dies, and never undergoes sense. It is silent, knower, and seer. Here, I may mention the philosophy of Plato. Though we are discussing in Indian philosophy, but we are very liberal as Indians, so we can take Plato. In the philosophy of Plato, when we said about the world or metaphysics of Plato or the theory of forms, here Plato says that there are two real. Those are the things. One is the world of real entity, and another is the world of shadow, mere shadow. And the world of real entity consisting the very nature of unchanging, very nature of eternity, very nature of क्या कहते हैं उसको अनट्रांसफॉर्म. और जो शैडो होता है, जो रियल वर्ल्ड नहीं होता है, उसमें क्या होता है, इसका पूरा ऑपोजिट होता है. It is very similar to that philosophy of Plato, this Suddhatma or relative soul. ये philosophy is very similar to Plato. आप लोग प्लेटो पढ़ोगे तो पता चलेगा प्लेटो के फॉर्म्स जो होता है, वो बोलता है कि जो फॉर्म्स होता है वो अनचेंजिंग होता है, like our soul. This is here, and this is object to destroy. ये कितने साल बाद ये तो नष्ट हो जाएगा. मैं भी मर जाऊंगा, मेरा भी कोई वो नहीं होता है. आई एम नॉट गारंटी दैट आपका शरीर का नाम वही इन कॉमन थिंग. सो ये टेबल, ये लैपटॉप, सारे जो चीज होता है ये सब नष्ट. बट अकॉर्डिंग टू प्लेटो द फॉर्म ऑफ दिस लैपटॉप, अगर हम किसी बच्चे को बोले बेटा एक लैपटॉप का आर्ट ड्रॉ करो, वो लैपटॉप ड्रॉ करे, वो तो सेम हमारे मन में होता है, वो कभी नाश नहीं होता. शेयर तो शेयर, बट शेयर का जो शेप होता है, जो फॉर्म FORM फॉर्म होता है, वो फॉर्म कभी चेंज नहीं होता है. दैट मीन्स अनचेंजिंग. सो ये जो रियल सेल्फ होता है, इट इज अनचेंजिंग, इट इज वेरी परमानेंट, एंड अनदर वन इज चेंजिंग एंड impermanent. So here an everyday illustration example. Imagine you are watching a film in a cinema hall. During the movie, there are scenes of joy, sorrow, victory, and tragedy. Sometimes the audience laughs, sometimes they cry. Yet throughout the film, the screen instead remains untouched. Fire may appear on the screen, but the screen never burns. Floor may appear, but screen never become wet. Dada Bhagwan uses similar examples to explaining the relationship between soul and the world experience. The body may become ill, the mind may become disturbed, the ego may feel insulted, the intellect may become confused, but the pure soul remain unsensed. When we identify ourselves with the sensing sins rather than the unsensing screen, suffering becomes inevitable. This insight is remarkably close to teachings of Bhagavad Gita, where Lord Krishna declares that self is unborn, eternal, and indestructible. Yet, Dada Bhagwan explained this profound metaphysical truth is in a practical and psychological manner that ordinary people can immediately understand. The witness consciousness, one of the practical implications of this distinct is the cultivation.
सरला एबे सरला आ पढबु कोन एबे कोडी
बुझाउची होउची मुझे आइसा नहीं लिखे
Now, another distinctive features of Dada Bhagwan's philosophy is that designed for everyday living. He never asks householder to withdraw from society. Instead, he encouraged them to transform ordinary life into a field of spiritual practice. The office become a place to practice humility. The family life become an opportunity to cultivate forgiveness. Business become a means of practicing honesty. Conflict becomes an opportunity to reduce the ego. Success becomes a taste of humility. Failure becomes an opportunity for inner growth. In this way, spirituality is no longer confined to temples, monasteries, or meditation halls. Every interaction becomes a laboratory for self-awareness. Now, come to relevance of modern world. So let us now consider why Dada Bhagwan's philosophy is attracting increasing scholarly attention. Modern cultivation has achieved extraordinary technological progress. We have advanced medicine, artificial intelligence, global communication, and unprecedented access to information. Yet, alongside these achievements, humanity faces different types of modern problems. Material progresses has not always produced inner peace. Dada Bhagwan's philosophy addresses this imbalance by reminding us that external development must be accompanied by inner transformation. It teaches that lasting peace cannot be obtained merely by changing external circumstances. Rather, it arises through a fundamental sense in one's understanding oneself. When ego weakens, conflict diminishes. When attachment decreases, anxiety reduces. When blame is replaced by understanding, relationship improves. And when one sees the pure soul in every living being, compassion naturally arises. These things have profound implication not only for personal ethics, but also for education, conflict resolution, environmental responsibility, organizational leadership, and global peace. From an academic perspective, Dada Bhagwan's philosophy represents a remarkable contribution to contemporary Indian philosophy because it bridges the gap between abstract metaphysical speculation and practical spiritual living. His teachings are not confined to theoretical discussions, but provide an experiential framework for understanding reality, the self, ethics, and human conduct. The originality of his thought lies in simplifying profound philosophical concepts and making them applicable to ordinary individuals without demanding renunciation of worldly life. His philosophy may be examined under several important branches of philosophy, like the metaphysics. One of Dada Bhagwan's most significant contribution lies in the field of metaphysics. He distinguishes clearly between pure soul, Suddhatma, and non-self complex, Pudgal, which consists of the body, mind, intellect, speech, ego, and all material phenomena. According to him, every living being is inherently the pure soul, characterized by infinite knowledge, infinite perception, infinite bliss, and infinite energy. However, due to ignorance and identification with the body-mind complex, the individual experiences bondage and suffering. Unlike purely speculative metaphysical systems, Dada Bhagwan presents this distinction as a matter of direct realization rather than intellectual belief. Through Akram Vignan, the aspirant experiences the separation between the self and non-self, making metaphysical truth an immediate reality. This experiential metaphysics integrates the insights of Upanishad, Jaina philosophy, and Advaita while maintaining a distinctive practical orientation. His metaphysical framework also explains the interaction between consciousness and matter without reducing one to other. Consciousness remains eternal and independent while material circumstances operate according to natural scientific laws. This spiritual revelation becomes possible without denying existence of the empirical world. Second is epistemology. Dada Bhagwan introduces an important epistemological distinction between intellectual knowledge, bodhigana, and direct experiential realization, anubhava. Intellectual learning, spiritual study, and philosophical debate may expand understanding, but they cannot remove ignorance regarding one's true identity. Genuine knowledge arises only when one directly realizes the self. This approach places experience above conceptual reasoning while not rejecting rational inquiry altogether. Intellectual knowledge prepares the seeker, but realization completes the process. Thus, his philosophy resembles the Indian distinction between paraksha jnana, indirect knowledge, and aparaksha anubhuti, direct realization. Another noteworthy contribution is the emphasis on anekantavad, the doctrine of manifold viewpoint inherited from Jaina philosophy. Dada Bhagwan says that conflicts often arise because individual mistake partial truth for absolute. By recognizing the validity of multiple perspectives, seekers cultivate humility, tolerance, and intellectual openness. This pluralistic epistemology has important implication for intellectual dialogue and conflict resolution in contemporary society. Now, in ethics. In ethical philosophy, Dada Bhagwan shifted the foundation of morality from external commandments to inner spiritual awareness. Ethical conduct is not merely obedience to social norms or religious rules, but naturally arises when one recognizes the pure soul in every living being. His ethics emphasize the universal values such as nonviolence, ahimsa, compassion, karuna, forgiveness, kama, humility, vinay, truthfulness, satya, and equanimity, shamatha. The famous principle adjust everywhere illustrate this ethical orientation rather than reacting with anger, ego, or conflict. Individuals are encouraged to cultivate flexibility, understanding, and peaceful coexistence. This principle transforms ordinary relationships within families, workplace, and society into opportunities for spiritual growth. Similarly, its teachings Patikraman provides a practical ethical principle for self-purification instead of merely feeling guilty after committing mistakes. Practitioners acknowledge their errors, sincerely repent, seek forgiveness internally, and resolve not to repeat them. Ethical development does become a continuous process of self-awareness rather than external punishment. The philosophy of action. Perhaps one of Dada Bhagwan's most original philosophical contribution concerned the philosophy of action. He introduces the doctrine of non-duality, akarta bhava, alongside the concept of vyavasthit shakti, the scientific circumstantial evidences. According to him, action is an empirical world occurs through the interaction of countless scientific circumstances. No individual independently perform actions in an absolute sense. The ego merely imagines itself to be doer, creating attachment, pride, guilt, and karmic bondage. Vyavasthit Shakti explained that every event results from an intricate network of cause and conditions operating according to the universal natural laws. This interpretation neither advocates fatalism nor denies human responsibility. Instead, it encourages individuals perform their worldly duties sincerely while remaining detached from egoistic ownership of action and outcomes. His interpretation of karma differs from conventional understanding by emphasizing that karmic bondage originates primarily from inner intention rather than merely external action. Liberation therefore requires purification of intention through the self-awareness rather than amendment of worldly responsibilities. Applied philosophy. Unlike many philosophical systems that remain confined to monasteries or academic institutions, Dada Bhagwan's philosophy is fundamentally practical. He demonstrates how profound metaphysical principle can guide everyday decision making, family relationship, professional responsibility, and social interaction. His teachings encourage individual to maintain inner equanimity amidst success and failure, resolve interpersonal conflict through understanding rather than confrontation, perform personal duties honestly without excessive attachment to result, develop emotional stability through self-awareness, balance worldly responsibility with spiritual growth. This practical orientation makes his philosophy particularly relevant in the modern age, where stress, competition, and materialism often dominate human life. By interrogating spirituality with ordinary living, Dada Bhagwan offers a model of living liberation rather than ascetic renunciation. Social and interreligious philosophy. Another important philosophical contribution is its universal and non-sectarian outlook. Dada Bhagwan repeatedly affirmed that the essence of all religions is the realization of the self and the cultivation of compassion. He discourages sectarianism and emphasizes respect for every faith tradition. His philosophy, therefore, contributes to contemporary discussion on religious pluralism, interfaith harmony, universal spirituality, peaceful coexistence, humanity beyond caste, creed, nationality, or religion. This universal vision has considerable relevance in multicultural societies seeking dialogue rather than conflict. And contemporary relevance. From the standpoint of contemporary philosophy, Dada Bhagwan's teachings engages with several modern concerns, like the relationship between consciousness and neuroscience, the integration of psychology and spirituality, the ethical leadership with responsible governance, conflict resolution through the empathy and multiple viewpoints, mental well-being through detachment and self-awareness, environmental responsibility based on respect for all forms of life. His philosophy thus extends beyond traditional religious discourse and offers valuable insights for applied ethics, peace studies, psychology, leadership studies, and holistic education. The philosophical significance of Dada Bhagwan lies in its successful integration of metaphysics, epistemology, ethics, philosophy of action, and practical spirituality into a coherent and accessible system. His teachings transform ancient Indian philosophical insight into a living philosophy that addresses the existential challenges of contemporary humanity by emphasizing direct self-realization, universal compassion, non-doership, and practical ethical living. Dada Bhagwan contributes a distinctive and innovative perspective to modern philosophy, making his thought an important subject for further academic research and comparative philosophical study. Now come to the concluding remarks. Here, we conclude the first part of this session that we can appreciate why Dada Bhagwan occupies a distinctive position in contemporary Indian philosophy. He did not seek to replace the ancient wisdom of India. Rather, he revitalized it by presenting spirituality as a scientific, experiential, and universal accessible path. He often opened the door of self-realization to ordinary man and woman living amidst the complexity of modern society. His philosophy reminds us that liberation is not an escape from life, but a transformation in the way we understand the life. The true revolution begins not in the external world, but in the discovery of our own eternal nature as the pure self. Then Dada Bhagwan's most original philosophical doctrines include the theory of non-doership, the theory of scientific circumstantial evidences, Vyavasthit Shakti, and their implication of karma, free will, ethics, and human responsibility. These teachings represent some of the most innovative contribution of Dada Bhagwan to modern Indian philosophical thought. Now, I conclude this session. Let us reflect on the profound significance of Dada Bhagwan's contribution to Indian philosophy. Throughout this session, we have seen that his teachings do not speak to reject or replace the classical tradition of Indian thought. Rather, they represent a creative and practical reinterpretation of the timeless wisdom of the Upanishad, Bhagavad Gita, Jain philosophy, and the other spiritual traditions make their essential truths accessible contemporary humanity. The central contribution of Dada Bhagwan lies in representing spirituality not as a matter of ritual, dogma, or sectarian identity, but as a living science of self-realization. Through the philosophy of Atram Nignan, he offers a direct and experiential path to recognize the pure soul while remaining fully engaged in family, professional, and social life. In doing so, he challenges the common assumption that liberation is attainable only prolonged ascetic practice or monastic renunciation. We have also explored his clear distinction between real self, Suddhatma, and relative self. Another remarkable aspect of his thought is the integration of scientific reasoning with spiritual experiences. In the age of dominated by scientific inquiry and rational thought, Dada Bhagwan demonstrated that spirituality need not conflict with reason. From an academic perspective, Dada Bhagwan's philosophy deserves serious scholarly attention. His ideas contribute to multiple branches of philosophy, including metaphysics, epistemology, ethics, philosophy of action, comparative religion, applied philosophy, etc. His teachings also open new avenue for multidisciplinary dialogue with psychology, education, conflict resolution, leadership studies, and peace research. The most importantly, Dada Bhagavan reminds us that ultimate purpose of philosophy is not merely to accumulate knowledge, but to transform lives. True philosophy is realized not in intellectual understanding, but also in the cultivation of humility, compassion, forgiveness, equanimity, and awareness. As he consistently emphasized, genuine spiritual progress begins with knowing one's true self and expressing that realization through love and non-violence towards all living beings. I conclude with a thought inspired by Dada Bhagavan that the greatest transformation in human life begins not when we sense the world around us, but when we awaken the pure self within us. When the vision becomes pure, the world itself appears transformed. Thank you. So this is
You have any question? Students or philosophy?
I have a question from Dada.
1 minute. Please, we will start the session. Huh? Question hour, we will start.
Yes.
So, first of all, thank you, Dr. Satyajit Kalitha, for your very scholarly paper. Indian philosophy is actually a very vast ocean. And as we know, ocean never stops any river merging into it. In spite of having a very vast, spread, it always allows. And that is the beauty of Indian philosophy and IKS, that any new novel thought, philosophy is most welcome, right? So, secondly, in today's session, Dr. Satyajit, you have had a very long journey exploring what Dadaji has discussed in detail. The beauty of Dadaji's darshan, it suddenly struck to me because I was watching philosopher giving paper and ideas, right? New things. So the beauty of Dadaji's darshan is that if there are 1,000 persons standing on a ladder of development, 1 person, step number 1, 800 persons, step number 800. Dadaji's darshan can give a push to all of them. A person who is standing at 9th step can go to 10th. Similarly, a person standing on 99th step, he can reach the 1000th step. So from labor to landlord, Dadaji was basically a man talking to men. And liberation, my God, what to talk about it? It's a very, 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 very high thing Because a person who is in bondage may inquire and may develop curiosity for it. A person who has no feeling of bondage, then this thought of liberation would not come to his mind. No, not he will he try. Right, sir? So this is the beauty of Dadaji's science. There is something, and this is his intention. A person should evolve. A person who is standing ninth, he should evolve to 10th, 11th, like this. Okay, so now I thank you very much, everybody. I invite now online participants also first. Okay, Sai Priyaji, if you don't mind. As an anchor, I should seek your permission. Huh? So I would like to invite the online participants if they have to contribute to add something to it. We have Yogi Shukla Sahib, Nisha Madam, Him Shikha Goswami ji. Okay, VVCRF is my cabin. So if you have any question or if you want to contribute, add something, you can do so. Now we have, yes, any online participants, please? You have to say anything or ask anything? All right. So now, Sai Priyaji, I request you, please take the charge. And now let us have question hour session.
Yes.
The,
Dr. Satyajit from the philosophical background.
yes, Lala Sahib.
I request all of you to know Nalbari University. My question, I also a question. You were referring about Nalbari. Right? Leaving aside that part, because that pertains to when a letter being is present. Now, as it happens, people may misuse it. Everybody will say, I am an attending and I will give you realization. This thought with that great risk. Right? So leaving aside, let me tell you, friends, HSRC, as a policy, they have decided to exclude that topic. Right? But Dada's philosophy, practical things, day-to-day life, even how one can spiritually elevate to other understandings, that in later part of a discussion, you will found out so many new things, which every ordinary person or any level can spiritually elevate the understanding given by Dada Bhagwan. Right? So I request each of you from the philosophical point of view, right? Accepting that he is not there, right? Physically. But how it can be useful to everyone, his thinking, his clarifications, right? That way, as an HSRC functionary, if you would like to know, we would not say it is our policy. We are not here, HSRC is not here to create devotees of Dada. He himself told us not to do that. Right? But he wanted that they should know the science and right. That ultimately, as yesterday we are also discussing the mitigation of suffering. Right? That way. And we call it connecting the dots.
Yeah.
Many philosophies, because the originators are bygone now. It happens. Yes. In their absence, there certain vacuums are creating certain dots. There, the next person. Yeah. He will do that. And I found him that he has this role. He is very helpful in connecting the dots, which sometimes we feel in another vacuum. Various philosophies like very philosophy. These things, this happens in the absence of any living life. Like, different people interpret the same thing differently. Say after departure of Buddha, people interpret differently the Buddha. After departure of Mahavir, there will be 100 types of Jaina sects.
Right.
After departure of Krishna, like 1,000 types of Vaishnava. Happens. So where he can be helped. From keeping in that background, you can tell us your views. How this philosophy can be helpful in bridging the gaps and interrelating different philosophies. Right? But he doesn't decline, reject any idea. That is the beauty about it, which is very beautifully. Right.
So, yes. Anchor.
Yes.
So, sir, I will have to disagree with that part a little bit, because why I will have to mention the Jnanavidi, because this is the foundations, because there are two techniques, Krama and Akrama. This I need to teach people about these two.
Yes.
Okay, so that they are not confused. What is this?
Right.
There are two techniques. I will try to explain that, because tomorrow I will speak about it. So there are two techniques, this and this. But now I found the methodology that was needed to transform different kind of people. So that is more important afterward. But the technique is there. We cannot remove the technique, because the technique is not our technique, it's the technique. You know,
Yes.
from the old point of view, everything, we cannot remove the technique. I will not use that technique. I will not talk about it afterward, but at the beginning, to introduce a technique, I have to mention there is a way. One is through meditation, one is through guru grace, one is through something. So I have to mention that. But HSRC, moving forward from the Penda Foundation, this is what we can learn. And this is what you can get from here, which is a living, which is a replicable technique afterward.
Yes.
So this is
To
the,
be
yes. So this is all I have to.
clear. You would like the Bhagwan philosophy to be helpful in
Yes.
Kramik mark.
Exactly. So we found
Right.
it, we have it already there, researched around that, but just from here, what I can understood from sir is he just explaining the technique that is available, different methodology, and in this side of Dada Bhagwan teaching is that sort of a technique is applied earlier, but then from there he explained that through understanding the self, and then after that the compassion, and all this long list of everything. That's what we can absorb from the people. So then we'll get it. You don't have to delete it, but at least there is a grace. You cannot remove it, otherwise it doesn't.
No, you want, yes,
Right,
we
right.
want to emphasize on the practical
Right,
aspect.
exactly. So that
Right.
we will
Yeah.
go through all the others that's valuable for the people. So it's more of that. Thank you.
Good.
Okay.
I just want to confirm something, we were discussing that Dada, he follows the Akram Vigyan, and it is all scientific methods. So Dada, technically, he did not follow any rituals, but he was a man of discipline. He was a disciplinary man, he has a certain set timetable, and he was also a devotee. He used to bow to his inner self, actual God. So what I am asking is that when we went to Dada's place, there were many deities that were there. Of course, there were people along with Dada who used to bow down to them also. So can we say that it was also this spiritual, not even spiritual, it was his inclination also, because he was a Vaishnavite also. So it was his inclination as well as self-realization, because at the same time he was Dada Bhagwan and Ambala. So Ambala was bound towards the deities that he had at home, and it was a self-realization, so that's why it's bound to himself. So is it the two-way scenario, or it was that because of those deities only, he used to first bow to those deities and then to himself?
No, he had a reverence for all deities. As well as after self-realization, he would figure his own self also.
This is not about, okay, wholly particular ritual. It's not only particular ritual, particular devotion. Okay, after getting realization, okay, actually, this is not about religion. Okay.
I'm not talking about religion, I'm just talking about his core belief system, eventually led him to where he actually stands.
Hmm.
So those core belief system, and then Dada science became the best of all philosophies that ever existed during that time. Right? Educating, right? So
I'm not getting your point.
what I'm saying is Dada science became is like the best of all the philosophies that existed.
Who say?
Like we know that we took best from all. Right?
दादाजी को कभी नहीं कहा कि मेरा साइंस सबसे बेस्ट है.
No, I'm not saying that. We are understanding that his
It is
philosophy
your-
is best of all.
It is your own
It is
perspective.
popularized, you can say.
Yes,
It is your own perspective. Okay. It is your choice.
some may find it helpful,
Yes.
many may find,
Helping.
many may not find. Yes,
So it is there are different perspective, different way.
yes, right.
So Dadaji also, see, he mentioned this very often. Ambalal Patel. The person which you are seeing, talking to, okay, with your gross eyes is Ambalal Patel. Dada Bhagwan is manifested in him. The body thus became temple. Okay. And that is why he would say in one interview, कि I too, I am you, whatever you see is not Dada Bhagwan. This is A.M. Patel,
Yeah.
contractor. Okay. I also do like this. Dada Bhagwan, I also bow to Dada Bhagwan. So he is that principle, he is that essence. Okay. And he carried out all the responsibilities. He was husband also. He was a contractor, businessman. Even whatever business he did, he took care that it should be with utmost honesty, whether loss or profit. So after playing all roles judiciously, morally, okay, taking care of every human being, observing non-violence even before enlightenment. Okay, so that created some background, and that Dada Bhagwan is the real inside. Okay, and he played all the roles. Yes, anybody else, please?
Sir,
Yes, Mr. Vaskar.
Not question, sir, actually.
Okay.
This is my.
But we just wanted to know how this will be
Yeah.
for your journey as a student of you and putting it forward to the world.
Firstly, I'm forget this because uh, we haven't any experienced person, first of all, and we are not the realized person. So there is no authority to question such a kind of person who are realized. But their thought is not their thought is universal thought. Because what happened in this nature, they realize it and they exploit it. And this is not for us, this is for all the society, all the human beings, all the even on the animal also, because we are in the Prakriti and nature. So I have just no, this is not my question, it's that my curiosity that there is three parts: karma marg, bhakti marg, and jnana marg. In Shastra said that already. But one slide I saw that you highlight that upper
Akram, yes.
and here it so that he highlights only the karma to direct relations. But where is the bhakti and
भक्ति ज्ञान
Bhakti and karma.
मतलब अकर्म और कर्म, अकर्म अक्रम, अक्रम जो स्टेटलेस पार्ट, अनक्रम step by step part. I mentioned.
I would like to clarify, Master. He was asked this question. Bhaktiman, Karma, Jnana. They are generally talked about in isolation. Whereas Dada Bhagwan says they are not isolated states. And that interpretation is very, very helpful for very helpful to read. Is it first for doing anything, you need the proper knowledge. That is a jnana. Without proper knowledge, all your actions will be discrepant, flawed. Right? So he says first that you know. You are giving a very famous example. You want to go to an. So you have to know that there is an airport this direction. This is the map. That is the jnana. Now that is not sufficient. So many people stop there. That this is the way. We have to approach toward it. Right? And that is easier with the bhakti. Bhakti is to approach nearer to your goal. So he was defining bhakti as this way, execution part. Right? But following the jnana. That is a bhakti. Right? And that action also is continuous. Your action is consonance with the right knowledge. And the journey, they are bhakti and karma. All the three. He said they are one. If you segregate them, then only knowing you will become like that. Okay, only doing bhakti you will reach the target. He was explaining a different way. That you should have proper philosophy, then compliance in your life, right? Followed by actions also. So this way, he tried to explain this concept. And there is a famous article I will share on some of you. Is clarified wonderfully. He did not for Taiwan or remember. Muslim Gedi, Dr. Radhakrishnan, he was a Krishna devotee, founder. He asked this question, and he has explained beautifully this. We are actually, they are not separate things. Together.
If you study intellect and intuition, study intellect and intuition, Radhakrishnan, in the philosophy of Radhakrishnan, intellect and intuition, there are two forms of reality. So intellect, that is our rational knowledge. After that, we can go to intuition, that means the ultimate knowledge. These two. But Radhakrishnan also says about sense experience. That means for the higher level, for getting the higher level, first sense experience, after that intellectual knowledge, then intuition. So these three in a one bucket. So the Vyasa says like that. Gyan, Bhakti, Karma, these are very well connected to give us that ultimate way. Okay.
That's okay, but you directly answer any slide as well. Directly karma to realization. So that's the message of vision.
Now, I have got that discussion. Okay. I got that discussion. We have some time, 10-15 minutes. Let us try to explore that. Right? This is the real dialogue. It is transcript. Right? Dr. Radha asked, please explain the Karma Yoga and Raja Yoga. Right? Now this also is coming. Radha says Karma Yoga is to live according to karma. Here one is not independent. He acts according to the thoughts coming to his mind. Okay. Is it a path to self-realization and liberation? Yes. Whereas no, it is a path that leads one to the cycle of birth and death. Because if you say it is a different interpretation, say, doing, say, acting according to your thought. Okay. So he says that doesn't lead you to the birth and to the liberation. Because in Karma Yoga, one acts are guided by the thoughts occurring in the mind. Then what is about Raj? Raj is as if one lives keeping focus on his goal. So goal-based compliance, one decides a goal for his life was proper. Right? There are basically two kinds of life goals. Whether I want to attain liberation or whether I want to earn auspicious karma, punya karma, for happiness in this world. So, Dr. Radhan asked, is that a path to liberation? Father said, yeah, provided one correctly understands Raj. In Raj Yoga, one lives independently with a firm and clear goal for his life. Whether it is to attain celestial life or to attain liberation. Then in the course of living, when your mind guides you to do something, here the vivek comes. Right? So he says, without vivek, that's the description as I understand. If you apply vivek in between, something occurs to your mind and you apply vivek. If that, with that description, if that thought is in accordance with your goal, life goal, okay, then it is Rajyoga. Right? Otherwise, let people smile. Then it is called, when your mind guides you through something, it is conducive to attaining your goal. That is the Rajyoga. Right? Here again, knowledge comes. How to decide your goal? Goal must be based upon the right knowledge. So everything begins with the right knowledge, according to Dada. Okay. Simply walking, simply doing the religious thing, everything may not lead you to the proper destination. Right? So, then he asked, this does not seem easy. How can we know if the mind is driving us somewhere else? Rather, he says, you come to know since you have clearly decided your goal. If you have really decided goal, your goal, then only you come to know that your mind is driving you astray, or showing you something astray. So take time in deciding your goal, whether it is perfectly right knowledge based. Okay. Now, then he says, Dr. Radhakrishnan, that happens with the help of intellect. Right? So, Radhaji explained, you can understand with the help of intellect as you have a soul inside. You gradually attain the experience of soul. That is what he says. Your experience of soul is gradual, not always sudden. Yes. Like a sun rises gradually. This way is a 1%, 2%, 5%, 10%, like that. If you experience suffocation under certain difficult circumstances, something shows you do this. That is inside. Don't do this. This is the jnana. The development of insight. That is the gradual realization. Okay. So he said yes, intuition. So these are gradually opens up. Okay. 10, 15, 25, 50%. It is not to become, it does not become 100% at a time. The development that shows you that this is right or this is not right. This is not shown by intellect, but by the development of your soul. That is the insight. And one does not become a pure soul all of a sudden. When you have attained 50-60% development and you meet a living, fully enlightened person, he helps you to fill the gap and you attain full self-realization. Then he asks, what is bhakti yoga? Now our question comes. is bhakti develops to the extent of development of your jnana. That is the right knowledge. Both jnana and bhakti proceed side by side. By first is jnana. Okay, say 15, 25, 50%, and that is followed by gradual development of the compliance kind of. So always the compliance will be behind the knowledge. Right? Behavior follows the belief, they say, no? So he says, again, he asked the example. Please explain me the example. Dada gives that same example which I told you, airport. First, you obtain knowledge about the route. And keeping that in mind, you start proceeding. Bhakti means to approach closer and closer to your goal. If you do not know the route and have not planned accordingly, how will you proceed correctly towards your destination? So you first need to know whose bhakti you are doing. Whose bhakti? People do not understand bhakti in its true sense. So he said, Raj Yoga is the planning, the direction about the route towards your goal, provided one receives the right knowledge about this from a living, fully enlightened individual. Okay, at least knowing right now. Okay, right, say you may know from Bhagavad Gita also what is right, first of all, right? Then he said, ask, what is Jnana Yoga? So it is the Raj Yoga only with the right knowledge about the route and planning the journey toward the goal of liberation. So he said, ask, I think what our soul shows is the correct. Our own soul is the Guru. But what is the level of development of yours? You cannot say that this is the sound of my soul. Okay? It may be only a murmuring of your mind. No. So he said, but what is the level of development of yours? So, say if it is 40%, how can it guide for progress towards the development of 50%? Right? You need someone who is ahead of you in the path of development. Say, a person with a 60% development will guide you from 50 to 60. Like that 80, 90, do you agree, sir? The person says, right, sir, I am grateful to you for bestowing the right knowledge about Karma Yoga, Raja Yoga, Jnana Yoga, Bhakti Yoga. That is how we try to explain this interrelationship of different terminology. Say we actually spiritual journey.
Yes.
Right. And that is how I remember what Krishna has said, Buddhi Vyabhichara. You cannot solely progress on the base of intellect. Because your intellect will show you as per your own development. So you cannot show further. Okay, that is how you need. That is why you are Nalbari, you are straight. Okay, that's why your own intellect will help you to rise further. It is not possible.
Right.
By any amount of spending time, you cannot go further beyond that scope of intellect.
You were talking about this slide.
And here, Dada has given a full understanding, which we have so far not got in our presentation. He said intellect. Yeah. Right. Intellect. It is
Krama Marga.
Intellect is the light coming. Intellect, Bhaskar, is the light of soul coming through ego. So your intellect depends upon the kind of ego you have. Okay. And that is where God says the intellect is a Vyabhichari. You cannot solely depend upon intellect for further development on its spiritual journey. Right. So I think this can be helpful to some extent. for our discussion.
Sir, his question is Kram Marg and Akram Marg. So by mistake, I think you read it Karma. It is Kram. Means Kramik Marg. One is the step by step. Second is the stepless. Okay.
Walking